everyone. Good evening. It is Traci coming to you live from Golden Dog Adventure Company headquarters. And I am here tonight with one of our partners, Jody Crotty, who's a soul level animal communicator. How are you, Jody?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really good. Who are these little cuties you have with you?
So I've got tonight special guests. I've got the Crotty crew. There's Perseus.
Oh,
There's Perseus. And then the old man is over there. And come here, Bean. Come here. Yeah, so they're super excited to be here because that's Kara over there. So they're like this.
well, they're
They're super.
excited for the launch of your new book. That's why they're there celebrating.
They are. They're very, very excited.
And
Very
I'm
excited.
very excited as well because I know that you have been working towards this for a long time. And you and I
Mhm.
have been going back and forth talking about your dreams and your wishes and how the story came together. So I'm really excited to be able to interview you tonight. It's kind of, well, your book has already launched, but it's kind of an online book launch with our community. And I'm really excited for you because it has been a labor of love for you. And I'm anxious to know a little bit more about the book. So, first off, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you do as a soul level animal communicator so people can get a better sense of kind of what went into this book?
Yeah. So being a soul level animal communicator, I connect on a deeper level. And right now my dogs are going into a deeper level of the treats, the bags of treats right now. So a soul animal communicator just means I intuitively connect in with animals that are alive or those are in spirit to deliver messages to their humans. So it's really for me bridging the gap between animal communication and their people. And the animals have so many amazing messages and lessons they want us to learn about the lives that we are leading. And it's, yeah, so we go to the soul level. So that's what a soul level animal communicator is. It's not just I see the dog is showing me a red ball. Okay, well, what is it about the red ball that is significant for your dog, or what is it significant for you for? So we tend to dive in a little bit deeper when it comes to the sessions that I do. Sometimes, especially with those animals that have crossed over, they really do have a deeper message um, to have for you to be shared.
Yeah, and Jody is our featured expert for this month, and she had a great pop-up talk for us earlier in the month, and she connected in with some people who were in the Zoom room and let them hear some messages from their pets. And that always is a tearjerker. We always have a few people who just get so connected with what you're saying, and it really moves them quite a bit. So, you've been a partner for a long time. We're very grateful for the support you've given us and all of the great pop-up talks and wisdom that you've shared with us. So I'm curious, where, what was the thinking? How did you shift from, what you do as a soul level animal communicator to creating this book? Can you tell us about that journey?
Yeah, absolutely. This journey was basically, I got that question a lot. Do you talk with animals, especially from kids, adults? And it was just that never ending question. Yes, I do talk to animals. So that's where the title of the book came from. Because I talk to, I don't say I talk to, it's more of me listening to what the animals have to say. So all of the animals within the book are animals I've actually communicated with. I've asked them, what is it that they want to share with me that I could put into the book? So that's really kind of how it came about. And the main character I feel within the book is Fern. Fern is actually an owl that is actually she is an owl ambassador at the Center for Wildlife up in Cape Neddick, Maine.
Ah.
So I had gone up there and not intending to connect with any animals. I just thought it was fascinating to go, oh, and there she is. There's
Such
Miss
a
Fern.
beautiful picture.
Yeah. And then we'll get to the illustrator in a minute. Um, so yeah, I went up and it was for their owl prowl, I think it's called. And I was sitting there and Fern just started telling me her life story, and I was blown away. So after the event, I went and talked to her handler and let her know of what Fern shared with me. And then, of course, the handler started to cry a little bit because some of the things that she was saying made sense to the handler. So that's how the book kind of got started. The second character was actually Gus, the black bear. He was the black bear that came into my yard. And he had a lot to say too. He was the first character. Yep. That I said,
I love sitting in the blueberry bushes.
Yeah. So he was the first character that I asked him his name. I said, if I'm to write this book, I'm being guided to write this book, what do you want to be called? What do you want to be referenced? And he said Gus. And so that's how I kind of came up with the name Gus. So all of the characters, even the squirrels that are in there, I've communicated with. And it really is getting their perspective on life. So whether they be our dogs, like these guys right here, or wild animals, they're constantly communicating with us. They're giving us messages. The wild animals tend to be very less descriptive because they do have that wild instinct and that natural, but they do have messages for us all of the time. So yeah, that's where the characters came from. And so I know, Traci, you were showing a couple of the illustrations.
Yeah.
So Catherine Ramsdell is actually a brilliant, brilliant artist, and she lives locally. And when I was looking for an artist for the book, a friend of mine, she's like, oh, well, Catherine draws. And I'm like, oh, cool. Have her send me, some illustrations. And the first email I got from Catherine was Stinky the Stink Bug. And a couple of other, frogs and things like that. And I emailed her back. I said, Catherine, these are just sketches. They were beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So Catherine is, I believe she's 18 now, but when she did the book, the illustrations, she was 17. And the premise of the book is, what do you feel when you see these characters? How can you identify with them? And that came through flying colors with how she created the characters, the colors that she chose, the positions within the book. She took it and did an amazing job. I couldn't be any more proud. Yeah, more proud of Catherine in how she was able to take the book and make it her own. And that's the premise of the book. When you read this book, how do you connect with the animals? How do you feel? What do you think that they want to share with you? And Catherine did a beautiful job with that. So she's amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I love the images. And I think this is a young Jody Crotty right here. I think she got wove somehow into the story. And I love it too. Such a great character. And you're right.
Most
just the innocence of all the images. I really love that. And I love the fact to get a little sticker set with the images as well, which is really a nice additive to the whole package. But
yeah, so yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jody, tell us, what is the main message in this book? I mean, what are you hoping, is it for children and you're hoping they're going to get something out of it? Is it for adults? You're hoping they're going to get something out of it? What are you thinking there?
So the premise of the book, it's a very easy text to read. It's very simple. So young readers as early as probably first grade could probably really identify with some of the words, the sounds of the words. There's no rhyming within the book, but the simplicity of the words. I made sure that even as young as, little infants, now, do you see that they're licking each other's faces right in front of them? So it's great. So even young readers can identify, and the way that Catherine drew the imaging of all of the characters, the colors really pop. So with that, as young as, now they're all, do you see this? Do you see what's happening right now?
Yep.
They're so excited. They're good dogs. But then again, there's the mantra, which is a meditation mantra at the beginning of the book, that helps parents who read to their their children at night. It makes it calming, settling when you're reading the mantra in the beginning of the book. It really kind of sets the tone for the book. My little niece, Emma, who was inspired, or actually inspired me to name Stinky the Stink Bug, loves the book as well. So I'm very grateful for little Miss Emma, who, yes, there's Stinky the Stink Bug. And Emma gets so excited because she thinks that's her hand in the book. She says, "That's my hand," because she was pointing to Stinky the Stink Bug. So young and old, this book really kind of hits it home as far as allowing us to reconnect with that child that sometimes we often forget. So yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I used to teach a class for UNH on social permaculture, and part of their assignment was to go out in nature for 15 minutes and journal, and they had to be barefoot, and they also had to hug a tree. So
Ah,
initially, people thought I was whacked. But after doing the assignment for several weeks, they absolutely loved it, and many of them continued it, beyond the class. But yeah, I think we're just so far past that in our heads that that's we're so disconnected from nature. It's not a normal part of what we do anymore, and that's one of the things we're trying to do at Golden Dog as well. As what you're trying to do is reconnect people with nature. So I love the simplicity of it. I love the drawings. I love the messaging to just kind of go out there and listen. And what are the animals, the insects, the birds? What are they saying to you? So that's fantastic. And I know, tell us a little bit about the organization that proceeds are going to support.
oh, the Center for Wildlife. So for every book that's sold, $1 goes back to the Center for Wildlife. So the Center for Wildlife really works on educating the public on sustainability and basically all wildlife here in New England. And they do so much work as rehabilitation, but unfortunately, sometimes the rehabilitation doesn't go as planned. So that's why they have the ambassadors. They have everything from a porcupine ambassador all the way up to Fern the owl, to a raven, to a box turtle, to a corn snake. So all of this is an effort to educate us, the public, on what we can do to help preserve wildlife that is around us all of the time. And they are 24/7 all of the time. And it's a wonderful organization. If you've never been to the Center for Wildlife, again, it's up in Cape Neddick, Maine. You can go and meet these ambassadors. They just built a brand new facility that has beautiful, beautiful displays and really kind of get you out there. They have a beautiful area where you can sit for talks and lectures. They have an activity center for kids for where they can go and they color. And it's very much a tactical experience when you go to the center. And you can purchase my book there as well.
Oh, I was going to ask you where else it was for sale, because I know it's on your website, but so they can purchase it at the Center for Wildlife. Any place else that is also available?
No, and that's interesting that you mentioned that, because everybody keeps asking me, am I going to sell it on Amazon? And I at this point, it's not me. I like making that connection with people and their animals, and going to that local bookstore and just sitting there and finding a good book. That's what I'm all about. So I want to preserve that as much as I can with this book. So right now, you won't see it on Amazon. You buy it directly from me. And that's kind of how it's going to be for a while, I think, because I think if once we get into the bigger markets, we tend to lose that connection with the kids and with our clients and our customers, and it loses the sense of the book. So yeah, you buy it directly from me. You can go to my website at jodycrotty.com and click shop, and I ship it directly from you. If you want a signed copy, you can let me know what you want in it. And so far, I think I've sold close to 700 copies.
Wow, that's excellent.
Doing it directly.
Well,
Yep.
now, and aren't you going to be at the event this weekend with Take 5 Dog Care?
I am.
Okay, so
Yes.
people can get them there as well.
Yes, I am.
Awesome.
So I'm super excited about that. And I do have a couple of other events coming as well. So you can definitely check out my Facebook and Instagram, which again is just my name, and you'll see it there. So I'm super excited to be able to share animal communication in this way, because children, they really get it. And sometimes we as adults don't. And it's really about, what do the animals want to share with us? So if you don't mind, I want to read a little bit in the beginning, just to kind of get everybody thinking about how animals affect our lives. Again,
Sure.
whether they're our pets. See, now everybody is settled down right now. And this was, I was hoping would be happen in the beginning. So within the book here, I'm just going to read this first page. And this was really funny. Catherine and I came up with the idea that for any of those Beatles fans out there, remember the scene with the album cover where the Beatles are walking across the street?
Yep.
That's kind of where this image came from. I'm like, let's have them kind of all walking in a line like the Beatles. So animals see what we forgot. Animals hear what we cannot. Animals know more than we thought. And animals feel when we connect the dots. So those sentences basically is the essence of how we are communicating with animals and how the animals are communicating with us. As all of us animal lovers, they know more than we could ever imagine that they could know. They hear, their senses are so, hold on one second. You are not having any more. No, we're good with those. Perseus is trying to get into the open bag of treats. So they can see things that we can't see. I don't know if anybody's ever had, a dog or a cat kind of all of a sudden look down a dark hallway. They see things that we can't. The last line is, they feel when we connect the dots. And in our lives, it's always such a good feeling when you finally, quote, get the big picture. So think about, when you're doing a dot to dot, you can't see what the picture is until you complete all of the dots. And so as you're going through, you start to see those dots come together. The animals feel that. They feel that excitement when we get the big picture, or when we finally see the big picture. It's that unconditional love that all of the animals have for us. And when we finally, again, get the picture on the lessons that they're teaching us, they're like, yay, they're so proud of us. Again, it's coming from a place of unconditional love. So that was the sentence in there. So it was interesting, because when Catherine and I were coming up with different phrases, and I kind of sat back and, I'm like, what, something that they have to feel. And I laughed to myself at first, and Catherine was sitting right there with me. I was like, they totally feel when we connect the dots, like they get it. And then Catherine and I look at each other and we're like, oh boy, that's like, I'm like, no, it can't be that simple. And it was really that simple. So that's probably one of my favorite lines.
Yeah.
They feel when we connect the dots, because they do. They feel it when we get it.
That's amazing. Well,
Yeah.
and before we sign off, any advice you would offer people considering or thinking about writing a book?
Do it. Just do it. Like the Nike. Just do it. If you have an inclination, or you have an idea, or you're passionate just about writing, I'm old school. I have to physically write. Hold on 1 second. Yay. We just had my dog pee on the carpet.
Oh, no.
So we had my dog pee on the carpet, and we're not going to be on that Drive 3. Nope. Just because he did it does not mean that we can. Don't you just love live broadcasts?
Oh, yes. I can't edit that out.
Yeah. The one time that he's supposed to be up here.
So your advice is just go for it if it's something you're
just
passionate
go for
about.
it. Really, really rely on your intuition. Write it out 100 times, write it out 1,000 times. The more that you follow your passion and follow your heart, it's going to come through all of the time. And no matter what the struggles are, or, finding the right text or finding the right words, just follow your heart. And because the animals will guide you through everything, they've got your back. So yeah.
Nice. Well, thanks for spending some time chatting with us. I appreciate it. And thanks for
Thank you.
this wonderful, sweet book. And congratulations on your sales and on the publication. That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you. And so I just wanted to throw out, so if anybody is watching, like the first 10 people who purchase a book, first 10 people, and I'm keeping track, you'll get a free sticker and a button with the book.
Woohoo!
So you'll get the book, the sticker sheet, and the button. So the first 10
nice
people
gift for the holidays.
Yeah. Birthdays are coming up. It's going to be wonderful to go outside. The actual pages, the paper quality is meant to be written on. So get those kids out there, have them write in the book. They can circle in the book, because there's actually a hidden character all throughout the book. I'm not going to tell you who the character is. You're going to have to go find him. So on certain pages, there's a character who's in there multiple times in different areas. So yeah.
Well, I really like this section of the book here too, that kind of encourages them to journal, go out and take this in nature, write down what you see, hear, feel, and know.
Yeah. So have the kids go out and just, if they see a frog, okay, well, what do you see? I see a frog. Okay, well, what do you see? I see him sitting on the log. Okay, cool. Well, what do you think, or why might he want to be on the log? Well, he's probably resting because he's tired, because he hopped up. And so that is allowing the children to really explore that imagination. And that's why there's those big spaces. Have them write it down. Have them draw a picture of the frog. So going into the actual quality of the book, I wanted to make sure that those pages were easy enough for the kids to be able to write on. So yeah, they can do that.
Well, thanks for putting out a great book. And now you need to go and clean up some urine. So you go do that. And we will see you this weekend at the Mindful Walk.
Awesome.
All right, Jody.
Thank you.
Have a great night. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.